Welcome back to another review, this time Solo Leveling Season 2, The Rise from the Shadows. We have the synopsis. Sung Jin-woo, dubbed the weakest hunter of all mankind, grows stronger by the day with the supernatural powers he has gained. However, keeping his skills hidden becomes more difficult as dungeon-related incidents pile up around him. Ren Shin-woo and a few other low-ranked hunters are the only survivors of a dungeon that turns out to be a bigger challenge than initially expected. He draws attention once again, and hunter guilds take an increased interest in him. Meanwhile, a strange hunter who has been lost for 10 years returns with a dire warning about an oncoming catastrophic event. As the calamity looms closer, Jin-woo must continue leveling up to make sure nothing stops him from reaching his ultimate goal, saving the life of his mother. Now, this is more or less the synopsis. We are in season 2, which had how many episodes? 13, ended last week, and we are just continuing from season 1. Not really, no real surprise here. We continue leveling, we get into the dungeon which we found in the first season, and we continue to see what solo leveling does best, and that is fights. The fight animation is second to none. I do not know any anime who has better fight scenes at this point than solo leveling. They are just stellar animations. It is just incredible how good they are. Now, if you expect a lot of story and character development, that is not solo leveling. I do know we get a little bit more to see a little bit more of the other sides of Jin-woo, especially regarding his mother. But we don't really get a lot, especially if you compare that to the manhwa as example. There are a lot more shots of the character and showing some emotions, not necessarily crying, but there are more emotions. You do see a couple here as well. Now, the problem is not really him, but the surrounding field. You don't really get much about the surrounding field. You don't really get to know many of the other characters or why they are doing what they're doing. One or two you get, but there are a lot more characters, a lot more development you could have. They decided to just let it be on the roadside. Remove it from the anime, more or less cut the fat, and concentrate on what they do best, and that is Jin-woo. He's the center point, and his fights. And I mean, you could argue for the better, for the worse. It's your opinion. The fights are just incredible. They make more than up for that. Additionally, story-wise, we get to see more of the story around the island. And we get like a little droplet at the end of who, because the whole time we get like glimpses of his story, but we do not really get enough to speculate and see what is really going on. But we get like tiny little bits and pieces. So I assume we get a lot more in the next season. That is definitely going to come out at some point. I do not believe this they will stop continuing to do the anime. Which means if you like action and you like this cocky son of a bitch awesome character, solo leveling is the anime for you. I can't really tell you of another anime that would scratch that itch like solo leveling does. If you want like a whole world building stuff and so on, probably not the anime for you. But if you like action, you are gonna love this anime. You see the user score 8.8. I would say This is a 10 out of 10. If I know someone who is watching anime and I know they do not dislike action, I would definitely recommend this, no question asked. If I know they don't really like action, or action is not really what drives them to watch an anime, it's gonna be hard to convince them, but all other anime watchers are probably going to have a good time watching Solo Leveling Season 1 and Season 2.